Alright, what's up, people? As you can see, I have my little skull cap hoodie, not hoodie, but headgear going on. It's kind of cold over here. We got our first signs of snow October 29th. It's still October and we're getting snow and sleet, man. It's crazy outside, but I wanted to talk a little bit about this society that we live in and the dehumanization, this era of dehumanization that we've been pushed into and the effects, of capitalism that it has on this dehumanization. It teaches us to be humans first, or excuse me, not humans first, obviously, but it teaches us to be individuals first and put individuality above everything else. And if you have to step on somebody else to get to the top, well, then that's just the way the system works. Survival of the fittest, which is a whole bunch of bullcrap to begin with, because the whole system of capitalism. Not saying that I'm for communism or socialism or anything like that, but I'm just critiquing the system that we live in, and the system that we live in of capitalism doesn't, it teaches the idea of scarcity, and if it's not scarce, then you can't make enough money off of it. So, scarcity equals money, and that's why we don't do certain things, because if it's not scarce, there's no profit into it that can come out of it. So again, the system that we live in is just like, and what really got me to think about this is this song by Crystal Waters called Gypsy Woman. And it's about this woman, who Crystal Waters met, who's a homeless woman, and and the lyrics go for the song, she's homeless, and she's living on the street, and every day she wakes up, she puts on a little bit of makeup. She goes about her day, and she goes out there and she sings. She doesn't beg for money, but she goes out there and sings and does her thing because, you know, that's she's a human, and just because you don't have a home doesn't mean you should be below, society. Who's to say that we as people, like me, why do I deserve the home that I live in and she doesn't? Why doesn't everybody deserve to be in a home? Why does the White House have all these extra rooms and they have a house of four? They have a family of four, but they have like 60 extra rooms, and all these damn homeless people in DC. Every time I go to DC, there's homeless people everywhere, right across the White House, right in Northwest DC. And it's just, man. And Crystal Waters sits there and she asks the question, she says, although her fault is not mine, I ask God why. And I don't know if Crystal Waters is a Christian person or a religious person, and she could be, she probably is, and I don't want to hate on Christians or anybody who believes in religion, because that's your choice. I was once a religious person, and a lot of my family is religious, but I sit and I think about most religious people, and it's like, how many religious people would sit there and say, wow, although her fault is not mine, I ask God why, I ask God why was I put in a position where I have what I do, but someone else who's another human being doesn't, am I better than that human being? What did I do to get treated better than that person? And that's something that Jesus would ask, that's not something, that we teach in this world. Even in Sesame Street, like Dave Chappelle said, we teach kids, Oscar the Grouch, he's a grouch. It's like, well, y'all, I live in a trash can, dude. Like, I live in a dump. Like, of course I'm going to be grouchy, but, and again, that doesn't mean that you have to be grouchy or upset, and woe is me because of your situation, but it's like, at least look at where he's coming from, And even as children, we're taught, that, get it together, grouch, we step over the poor as if we're just a better than them, man, and it doesn't. It's just crazy, because I've always thought this way, and it's like I wonder why. I've never really met anybody else who thought like I did when it comes to that subject. Like, just because you're homeless doesn't mean that you didn't try hard or that you're lazy. My grandmother, she could have been on welfare, but she never did. She was struggling with 4 or 5 kids, and she was working her ass off, but she did not want to go on welfare. She did not want to be lowered to that standard. She worked an extra job if she had to. She would go up cleaning, white people's houses, in the South, and taking care of their children, while her children are at home, coming home from school, not having their mother around. but she did what she had to do. And and the way that American society works is it makes you think as though somebody who is on welfare or on any of these programs, that they want to be on it. I'm not taking away from the fact that people do want to be on these programs, yes, but a lot of people, like the middle class, that some of the middle class people, when I was a student at Oklahoma, I went down to the department, of I forgot what the specific department was, but where they give out the food stamps. I did some stories on it, and the lady there would tell me about all these middle class families, man, who now don't have the means anymore. And you know how poor Oklahoma is. And they, especially the men, they don't want to go on food stamps, but they know that their children are sneaking ketchup packets from school and eating that because they don't have enough food, and eating bread, just like basically just eating bread, like that's the only thing that they can eat. And the parents have to see that, but at the same time, the parents don't want to go on food stamps. They don't want to be lowered to that because they don't want to be seen like that. They don't want to be seen as somebody who's a beggar, and nobody does. Like, most people really don't, man. At least that's the opinion that I've gotten from my perspective. That's the schema that I've drawn from my perspective in that aspect. But and I think, again, I sit here and I think that we are returning back to this new era that we're moving into, is an era of, let's fight for our humanity. Let's try to bring back a sense of community. Because even when I was younger, I remember a time, when we had block parties, when the neighbors would come in, when we first moved, and they would give us food. They would give us, but they would welcome us. And there's people who used to live down the street every year. They would come and they would bring us fruitcake, for Christmas, and Easter, and then we would exchange, and the kids would hang out. Everybody knew each other on the block. It was about a community raising, the children. It wasn't just the family that raised the children. It was a community. Community raises children. And I'll admit, when I was more naive, when I was younger, even though I'm very young now, but I was a liberal. And now, but that didn't mean that I was only liberal. I had a lot of conservative beliefs, and I still do to this day. I'm on both sides. But I would have to say that today, we have, yeah, conservatives do push for moral values and home values, but they just use it as wedge issues. And liberals don't talk about, values, because it's not politically correct for them. It's not what their constituents are about and the people who pay them the most. But if I have to say it, if I had to say one thing about this reality, is that we've moving so far away from the family and community, and being humans, and helping each other out. When you see a neighbor who's in trouble, you go over there and just have a simple conversation with them, sit on the porch with them, and just respect everybody. Where we all come from different sides and we all have different views, but at the same time, man, we're all the same people, and why can't we just recognize that? Why can't we recognize that a homeless person is still a human being, and then because I'm from the Northwest DC area, and the way I see people talk about the homeless and teachers as if teachers and the homeless people and people on welfare are the reason why this economy collapsed. It's unbelievable. It's this unbelievable zombie mode, where we just don't care about anybody else. We only care about ourselves. But then we want to play these pity parties as Americans and act like our life is woe is me. It's like, really, you're gonna play the woe is me card as an American, as an American, where you have everything. Like some of my friends, they have the FML site they go to, the F My Life. And it's like, really? Out of all the stuff that's happening around the world, and you think that your life is that bad? As Americans, and it's just like, well, if you treat other people the way you treat other people, what happens, when things don't go your way? And they won't always go your way. Who are you gonna turn to, So, just something for y'all to think about. Leave some comments, I'd appreciate it if y'all let me know about what you think about the sense of community. Do you guys still have block parties? Do you guys still know each other on the streets? Do neighbors still know each other? Because around here, it's changed dramatically. So thanks for listening. Deuces, y'all, and stay blessed.